Hi, Adiash73 here with my video walkthrough for Crash Time on Xbox 360. This is part 1 and covers the beginner's luck achievement for easy, normal and hard difficulty. As you can see, I haven't got any achievements in this game, and my walkthrough will show you how to get all 44 and the 1000G. First thing you want to do is go to the cases, select beginner's luck and stick it on hard difficulty. The reason for that is that the achievements in this game do stack, so that by playing it through on hard you will also unlock the easy and the normal achievements, so you only need to play through it once. As we progress through the walkthrough, I will point out any extra achievements you can pick up along the way. A good example of that can be seen in the window on the right hand side of the screen. That shows footage of when I popped the fast achievement during the first attempt at this mission. The traffic was far kinder to me during that first attempt. What I'll do is I'll always include a little pop-up window, as you can see, and if relevant I'll include an annotation underneath so you can click on that and view the video itself in its entirety. There are lots of random achievements like that throughout the game, so keep your eyes open. The key things to remember for this mission is that in the bottom left hand screen you can see a spanner and a damage marker. You're not allowed to get over 15% damage to your vehicle, so as you're going past the cars, just take care just not to clip any of those. You then have to catch up to the car you can see ahead with the green arrow above it and stop it and have it stationary for a total of 5 seconds. Now that vehicle's also got some maximum damage allowance. You can see that indicated on the little distance marker on the left. What I found the best technique was to get up behind the vehicle and use a pits maneuver. You can see that coming up here. Now somehow I managed to fluke him over the barrier. Cars in this game do tend to go over the barriers a bit too easily. Even so, I was still able to get him wedged up. You'll see the countdown timer appearing and just let that run down. Now normally what would happen is you'd spin him, brake and get the same effect. And here we are, we're into mission 2 of case 1. What I've done with my footage is I've decided to cut out all of the little acting and cutscene sections and just only use my successful mission playthrough footage. Now if there's a particular mission you are struggling with and you don't want to sit through the entire walkthrough, what you can do is have a look at the description for this video. In there I've put in the title of each mission within each case, and on there is a little time. You can click on the time and that will jump you through to the relevant section. This mission is a checkpoint race, and what you're required to do is drive along the route. It's not always clearly indicated, and collect or drive through rather, the blue circles. Now there are a total of 8 checkpoints to drive through, and you have a time as indicated in the bottom left hand screen. Now what you may well find is that a lot of these missions do require a couple of playthroughs on the harder difficulty, because you're not allowed a massive amount of leeway for mistakes. So if for example you're hacking along down the autobahn here and you have a major accident, you may have to restart the mission in order to do it in a quick enough time. Now you'll get away with a little clip like that, as shown in that little TV style montage, but if you have a serious smash where you're slowed right down, you might be better off just restarting straight away. So there we have another one of those little recaps TV style. The main reason that they're in the game is that this game is based on a German TV show produced by RTL, so that's why you get these sort of TV style recap of significant incidents. We're coming through to the end section now. It did take me a couple of tries to get this one because I made a few mistakes at this end section. As you'll see, I'm just coming around the final corner now, so to speak, and then get caught by this little cop car, which does throw me. But I had enough time in the bag to limp over the finish line. As you can see, not the most stylish of finishes, but it was just enough. And here we are, we're into mission 3 of again the first case, beginner's luck. In this mission you can race in the cop car. There is an additional achievement you can unlock at this time. what you can do is you can turn on your sirens and your lights by pressing the X button, and that will give you the achievement A Leading Light. I haven't included a link to a solution for that achievement because it's such an easy one, there's very little need. Now this is a straight up race mission, so your objective here is to get to the finish line before the other two cars. Again, it's a similar type of racing along the autobahns, shouldn't be too difficult, but again, if you do have any major accidents, it might be worth considering restarting early on rather than getting close to the end and not quite making it. Now what you may notice as you watch these videos is that you'll see some black tyre marks on the track. They're tyre marks left from a previous attempt that I've had on the game, and I would say that most of the missions on hard did take maybe 1 or 2 attempts. There was very few I was able to nail straight away. One of the benefits of this type of mission is that if you look into the top right, you can see that the track you're supposed to, or the route you're supposed to follow, is highlighted in white. That does make it far easier than some of the missions where you don't get that and all you have is the yellow GPS arrow at the top. They can be a bit tricky and frustrating to know exactly where you've got to go, but my walkthrough will show you the routes I took to get through them. You'll also see in that top right hand corner a percentage which shows you how far you are through the race, and on the left hand side you can see how far hopefully you are ahead of the other two racers. Now the cop car isn't the fastest car, and unfortunately you won't be able to unlock the fast achievement with this vehicle. So here we are, we're approaching the end of this race now, and it's just a case of simply crossing the finish line. No need to do anything spectacular, just make sure that you win. And here we are into mission 4, the final mission shown on this part 1 of the walkthrough. The beginner's luck case has quite a few missions, and more missions than were able to be squeezed into one video. That's why it's split across a couple of parts. Some of the later cases are a bit shorter, and where possible I will fit them all onto one video, but if it's a bit too long or it just makes sense to split them across 2, I will do. So for this mission you have a few restrictions. If you see in the bottom left hand corner, you're only allowed up to 10% damage. You have to pass through 8 checkpoints within a specified time. The course itself is a bit tricky, but you'll see that as we get through the video. If you look at the speedo at the bottom of the screen, you can see that I'm well over the 220 kilometers an hour needed to unlock the fast achievement. So if you've not unlocked that yet, this is a good opportunity to get that one popped. Some of you may have noticed the black tyre tracks or tyre marks on the road we've just come past. They were left there by a previous attempt on this mission. As I've highlighted previously, quite a few of these missions will take a few attempts to get. The time constraints are quite tight and it does take a bit of getting used to. You know, that was a bit clumsy there, making that mistake. But it didn't cause too much damage to my vehicle, so again, just progress through and keep trying. This is one of these missions where the route you've got to take is not highlighted in white. All you have is the yellow GPS arrow. They can be a little bit frustrating, as I've mentioned before, because it's not entirely clear where you've got to go, so just keep an eye on the map and look for the red circles. Now this section here where you're going through the twisty areas can be a bit tight, a bit technical. Now you will find that every time you do each mission, the vehicles or the AI vehicles on the track will change. So where you might be able to go around this corner and fly over the top here and not hit a car, on another attempt you may well go over that same corner and there'll be a big lorry there or a bus, something like that. So you do have to think on your feet every time you're playing it. It's not a case of just learning where the AI cars are on the track and just getting through it that way. One of the achievements in this game is called Crash Drive, and what that requires you to do is knock over 1,000 smashable objects. Now you can see I just clipped a couple there. They're the objects that I tended to go for the little barriers here. Now what I would say is that this mission's a bit tight on time, so don't focus too much on picking those up. There'll be plenty of opportunity to pick those up during the game, but if you can sideswipe a few on your way through, then do aim for them, do try and pick them up. 1,000's not a huge number and the achievement will pop quite quickly, but you might as well make some progress on it as and when you can. So here we are, we're coming up to the end of this race. Just need to take a little bit of extra care at the end here. There's a couple of sections that can get you caught out. This is one of them round the corner. Just hard on the brakes and veer over to get into the stop section. And there we are. That's part 1 of this walkthrough completed. By all means, check out the rest of my channel for the rest of this walkthrough, for other videos and a lot more. Thanks for watching and take care.